The Flying V guitar is a cool and iconic shape in heavy metal, rock, and other genres. You might be considering buying this guitar, and it can be pretty easy to be caught up in the thrill of owning such an exciting looking instrument like this. But if you clicked on this video, you're probably wondering what the drawbacks are. So I'm going to talk about that today. Having owned an offset Flying V, you can see the upper horn is longer than the lower horn, and also a symmetrical Flying V. You could see the horns both have the same length. Before I jump in, I have to say that I'm not sponsored by any of the brands shown in this video. This is not a specific review of individual guitars. You'll notice this is a 7-string, and this is not any kind of discussion about 6 versus 7 strings, etc. I'll be talking about just the pros and cons of the body shape, and what you should expect if you're looking to buy a guitar like this. So first, let's address the elephant in the room here. You'll take a look at this body shape and you'll see there's no way to sit with it in the standard kind of seating playing style like this. If I let go of it, it'll just slide right down. And that's pretty obvious because there's no lower horn here or any kind of body curves to hold it onto your lower leg. I know there is some kind of lever attachment or something that I think we're on some older Gibsons and I think you can buy it. But I'm limiting this discussion to unmodified guitars because you might not be willing to drill into your guitar to install this kind of lever thing. So you're limited to playing a Flying V either standing up on a strap like you see here or seated in the classical style like this. So playing standing up is pretty straightforward, no special explanation required there. I've been playing standing up more and more through the years just because I sit down a lot for my job. You know, you get pretty sore, you get pretty stiff sitting down all day. You want to stand up every now and then. So let's talk about seated in the classical kind of style of playing. So you can do it if your chair is low down enough that your legs aren't slanted down so it doesn't slide down like this. And you also have to be seated far forward enough on the chair so that way the lower horn here can clear the seat of the chair. That even applies with the offset V too. The lower horn has to go past the edge of the seat of the chair. Now, one thing you can do if your chair isn't low enough or you don't have some kind of leg support for your, I guess, playing hand side leg, you can actually cross your leg on the playing side over to support the body. So it's going to look a bit something like this right here. I'm trying to do it for the camera, but you're basically going to be sitting with your leg crossed to support the body right here. If you're coming from playing a super strat or Les Paul style guitar, something like that, you usually cross the picking side leg to elevate the guitar more. So this is the opposite of that. And I did make a video on how to play these kinds of guitars seated, so I'll link that in the description. Either way, I noticed that when seated with this guitar in the classical style, you do twist your body kind of a bit differently than if you're playing in the standard style. And so that can be comfortable, at least for me personally, for a time. But after a while, I do want to change positions, basically. I don't want to be stuck sitting one way for too long, or else it hurts my back. Again, I'm starting to get old. So in moments like that, I really wish I could put the guitar like this, but I'm limited to just either playing like this or playing standing up, which isn't the end of the world, but if that's a big deal for you, that's something to consider. So the next drawback I want to talk about is the long body. Yes, even with the offset Flying V, where the lower kind of horn, the lower wing is shorter, you still have this upper wing that's long. And with the symmetrical V, they're both long, so they're both going to be sticking out. First and foremost, because this is such a long body and this is sticking out so far, it becomes hazardous. Yes, the very thing that defines this body shape makes it dangerous, especially if you're used to the Strat or Les Paul style of guitars. You're not used to having all this material stick out to your side. Guys who play Explorers might be used to it. You're going to be finding yourself bumping into walls, bumping into tables, bumping into other people, bandmates. And if the collision is significant enough, you'll either ding or chip the finish on these points. You'll see a lot of used Flying Vs that have chips and dings on the tips. It's pretty much inevitable if you get a guitar like this. And I haven't chipped or dinged mine yet. I've been pretty careful. I did have LTD. I think it was an EX400 back in the day. And I did have a little chip at the end of that. But after that, I basically never made that mistake again. But that'll be something you'll have to consider if you move around a lot when you're performing. But even if you don't move around a lot, it's still going to be an issue if you're in a small space. Maybe the stage is small and your bandmates are pretty close to you. Maybe your video space is small. You're in a small apartment. Maybe your recording space is small. Your computer and your desk are in a tight space and you've got other things around you. It's always going to be a type of guitar that will benefit from having some space around you. And a fun little tip, when moving around with the guitar, I recommend holding it straight up so you don't have any material pointing out to the sides of you. That'll help you prevent damaging it. Another drawback about having a huge body shape is that the cases are going to be really big. Now, in saying that, the gig bag for the Solar is actually a pretty sane size, so props to them for that. But when it comes to things like hard shell cases, those can start to get pretty big. I know the case for this was pretty huge. It was just a giant rectangle, bigger than other guitar cases I had for my Super Strats. It was actually pretty inconvenient. I would show you, but I sold it in a deal and selling another guitar because I don't really plan on taking this guitar anywhere in the near future. I'd probably either take the Solar because of the Evertune or take a different six string, but this is starting to get into a topic for another video. I also have to say too that balance can be an issue when playing standing up. My Flying V's are pretty fairly balanced, but because you have the strap button, see right here on the back, you don't have an upper horn to bring out the strap button here where it might balance with the body better. Some Flying V models can be prone to neck dive. So some other points I want to bring up when shopping around for Flying V, you want to check the bevels. Some Flying V models don't have any bevels, so if you don't like a sharp body edge against your forearm, just watch out for that. But also consider where the bevels are, because this Solar here has really deep front bevels on top. But because of that, it doesn't have any bevels on the back. It has just a flat back. So if you don't like a flat back, no belly cut, watch out for that. Other models like this ESP E2 Aero, it is going to have bevels on the back, you can see, so front and back. So the front bevels actually aren't going to be as deep because of that, you could see right here. So again, keep that in mind. Also, the body angles away from your forearm differently than a Super Strat. You could see it angles like this. But then on a Super Strat or Strat or any other guitar that's shaped like this back here, you can see your forearm is actually going into where the body is. It's going almost perpendicular to that body angle right here. Versus on the Flying V, you can see you're kind of coming in at an angle right here. And it's not the end of the world, it's not unplayable by any means, but because we use these instruments to make music, we're going to be using them for hours on end, take after take, show after show, whatever you do. Little annoyances can add up. And especially with a guitar like this, it's going to become pretty annoying if it isn't exactly what you like, what you prefer. Next, I want to talk about the fret axis. So you can see, because there's no lower horn, there's nothing to get in your way of your hand, your fretting hand here. So you can get up to the 24th fret and beyond. But you have to also consider that because the strap button, where is it? Right here is on the back here, your thumb will actually come into contact with it if you're not careful. So then flipping it back here, you'll just have to maybe do a little stretch like that. And again, it's not the end of the world. I can pretty easily get to the 24th fret and beyond. Some models have 22 frets, you know how it is. But you're never going to get a perfect neck through or set in neck or whatever kind of fret axis for your thumb, because there's always going to be the strap button there where the neck is. Whereas on something like a Super Strat, the strap button can be somewhere else. Lastly, it's worth mentioning that the look of this guitar, it looks really cool. It's really metal. It's not going to be appropriate for every show, for every gig. Now, I'm a fan, I'm a proponent of playing smooth jazz on a Flying V with active pickups. I think that would be pretty awesome. But not every show, not every band is going to agree, especially if they're trying to perform with a certain aesthetic. Just like how you probably wouldn't wear full corpse paint if you were doing a country gig. Although now that I've said that, there's going to be like 500 guys in the comments jumping out talking about their black metal country bands. So overall, is it worth getting a flying V guitar? You know, you could equate it to dailying a sports car instead of something practical like a pickup truck or a sedan. If you don't mind the drawbacks it has and it doesn't impede you, then you can go ahead and go for it. It is possible to play a guitar like this all the time. But day after day, small annoyances and inconveniences can add up. Hour after hour, take after take, song after song, show after show. Maybe you're getting tired of sitting down in this position all the time. Maybe you're getting tired of having to watch out that you don't hit your bassist with the upper horn right here. Maybe you're tired of twisting a certain way because your desk space isn't big enough to accommodate the guitar while you're recording. Maybe you don't like how your forearm sits against the body. Day after day, it can add up. Personally, I'd more recommend this guitar if you're trying to make a visual statement every once in a while. Maybe you have a more all-around super strat, a strat, Les Paul kind of guitar. And every once in a while you either need to look heavy metal or have a guitar with heavy metal features like active pickups. It makes a great supplemental guitar, second guitar to have. You might be asking, is it guaranteed to ding the wings? And again, I haven't damaged these any yet. So it is possible if you're really careful all the time and if these aren't your primary guitars to preserve the finish on the tips. But it gets close. Just because the finish isn't dinged doesn't mean I haven't bumped into things. And then the big question, do I hate flying V guitars? Do I regret buying these? And no, of course not. I think they're very cool. I think they look super metal. They can sit on your leg in this position pretty nicely, so you can play almost near vertical. Sometimes I even prefer playing like this. Some days it's just more comfortable. I can't quite explain why. Other days I gravitate more towards my super strats. It does inspire a bit of different playing. Just knowing you're playing a guitar looking like this, you're going to want to play something cool. But what do you think? Do you think the Flying V is an awesome guitar shape, or do you think it's just a crazy gimmick? Let me know down in the comments below. To continue the discussion, come join the Discord. And of course, this is YouTube, so I have to say the YouTube things. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share the video, print out every frame and mail it. If you're looking for something cool to listen to, check me out on Spotify and all major streaming services, High Z Productions. I do some video game metal and some originals. And hey, as always, peace.